Who do you got and why?
I got Cavs in 4. No, I'm joking. Triggering a bunch of people. I can't believe you said that.
Okay, so we move the time machine even closer to the present, right? Again, our years have we went from 10-year spans, now we're doing like closer to 5-year spans. And actually, this one's like what?
This is 3. Yeah.
3? Yeah. And then we're going to move
But it just shows you how different
again,
the league,
right? Because when we do the bubble.
Yeah.
So
the league has just changed so much within
the league. As we talked about in 13-14, this league is completely different than the one we just left.
For sure.
And LeBron is back in Cleveland and doing
he had just finished winning his third third championship.
Yes, getting ready to defend it, and people are arguing about whether he's the GOAT or not. At this point, I don't agree, but it's true. Like you can't say that didn't happen. It happened.
Yeah,
definitely happened. Yeah. I can't control that.
They were still arguing about after he won the 2020 championship.
According to LeBron, he says that right there made him the greatest player of all time.
I'm not gonna lie, and because this is hypotheticals, I don't feel like this is too leaning away from the subject. I do feel like what LeBron did in that finals, really almost only he can do.
Okay,
there's not many players who can do that. What he did, come back 3-1 again. Granted, had some league help, but a 73-9 team down 3-1. I think he's really almost the only player who could do that in NBA history.
I have no retort for that because we'll see. Ask me that another day.
This is a hypothetical. Like we can talk.
I know, but right now I'm thinking about. Okay. Honestly, I'm thinking about what you said to me right before we started recording, which was, "Man, the East is weak as fuck." And
yeah, but that doesn't. I'm talking about the finals, though.
I know that's what I was explaining. I wasn't thinking about the finals at all. That's why I wasn't ready to go back here. But I mean, it's also about the team that he had. There's not a lot of players that could do it without a big man. I think that's a fair statement to make. Because there's very few players in NBA history that have won a finals without a dominant center. Even in today's game, as we've gotten closer,
center or power forward. You mean?
Yeah, like just somebody of size. Put it that way.
When you say you mean do you mean dominant, or at least decent?
I'm saying like at least starter on the All-Star team, like or just an like All-Star or better.
Okay, All-Star level.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not like fake All-Star.
I mean,
you were there for a reason.
Like because it's a different league, the big man is not as like important in this era. So
this is the main thing about this era in particular that stands out, and that's a major difference between Jordan's era and this one is we are officially at the point where nobody cares about the regular season. And if they do, it's a very small percentage of teams that are genuinely trying to gut out the regular season and get as many wins as possible. Otherwise, I think Cleveland would have more than 51 wins. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think there would be other teams. It's just like the Celtics at 53 wins leading the East. It kind of looks like 2000 with the Nets, right? and they had almost they had only 50 wins. So it's there's a lot of like garbage in this Eastern Conference, which is going to put Jordan's try hard ass like right in the driver's seat for coming into the league and just trying all the time. All the time, giving 110% every game. There's only one other guy I can think of in this particular league that's like that, and that is, I'm pretty sure who won the MVP. Yeah. And that's Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
So we'll start at MVP. Bringing Jordan in, 31.5 points per game. Leads the league in. Does he lead this league in scoring?
Absolutely. The pace is. My reason is because of the pace.
I just want to see if he does it straight up, regardless. I agree that it's.
Oh, he wouldn't. James Harden would lead the league in scoring.
With how many points?
Like 35, 34.
Is that this year he got 35?
No. Yeah. Russell Westbrook's leading at 31.6.
That's what I thought. I thought that's what put Westbrook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was triple-double and he led the league in scoring. So they're neck and neck.
Still doing his 29 and 11 crap. Yeah,
okay. They're neck and neck.
When he starts walling.
Westbrook and Jordan are neck and neck, and you were going to explain why you think Jordan would take it.
Oh, the pace. The pace is like so much faster. Well, let me make sure. What's the average?
Pace is 96.4, and for Jordan it was 94.4.
The league average pace is 96.4.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yep.
That is crazy.
Still moving up. Right? We've hit the valley, right? Now we're going back up with pace as we enter the today's era.
Those Bulls were towards the top of the league in pace, right?
No, they were dead last, I'm pretty sure. Or close to
91. No, I don't know if the 91 Bulls
were. In 2 seconds.
Yeah.
They were 19th.
19th. So they were dead smack in the middle. So who's 19th in this season? I mean,
that's a good question. No, that's a good question, though. I get what you're trying to do. So
let's say that it's about the same.
And this is the interesting thing to note. All the teams that play with pace, outside of the Raptors, I'm seeing, and the Jazz in dead last. Actually, you know what? This is actually interesting. There are teams that are in the playoffs in each category here. There's some in the middle. There's some that play with a lot of pace, and there's some that play with at a very slow pace, which is interesting because we've seen in other eras, it's only come from like either the slowest pace teams are really dominating, or in the 80s it was about the teams that moved a little faster.
Yeah,
and in this season, we got some at the top, some in the middle, and some at the very bottom making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
do you think Jordan's pace stays the same? I think it does. I think it's pretty close to where it's at.
Yeah, it's pretty much similar. Yeah, for sure.
And
I think, well,
yeah.
No, what were you going to say?
Do you still think Jordan, with that said, do you still think Jordan takes the scoring title, or do you think?
So my next thing would be, I still would probably go with it because he's more than likely going to shoot at least more threes, right? He's going to have.
Yeah. So okay, talk to me about this.
I don't know if let's say he shoots 5. That's what is LeBron shooting at this point? Because LeBron's more of a shooter at this point.
Honestly,
what is Westbrook shooting? Like, how many threes is Westbrook shooting? Because they're
I don't know, but I don't think they would. If we're taking the team in a time machine and we're putting them right into this league, I just think they're trying to play their game as is. And maybe do you think that smacks them in the mouth?
That's not good.
Okay.
I mean, in the regular season, they'll be okay, but in the playoffs, they'll get exposed.
Well, we can talk about that when we get to the playoffs, but I think why I bring this up is we hadn't done that previously.
Yeah, in any other league. Okay.
So
that's fine.
Even though we're getting to that point, I wonder if they win as many games. I think in the regular season they do because they're going to be one of the few teams that really goes all out.
Yeah, for sure.
As I alluded to earlier.
They're going to be a 60-win team in that East.
And I think Jordan and Westbrook are going to be neck and neck for the MVP.
No, Jordan's going to win MVP.
You think he's going to win MVP over Westbrook?
Yeah.
I have to agree with Dario on that one.
So with James Harden, like Jordan's way more loved than James Harden. So I really do think that matters just a lot.
Okay.
So I think obviously he's going to be getting his cock ate during the season, and he'd be, because it's going to be, so in the East, no one really, pretty much you lose out on the MVP of the East, because literally the top of the East in this season would have been fourth in the West. Automatically, that Eastern Conference top seed, no one in that team is going to be considered for most valuable player. The reason James Harden is because the Warriors, it's split between KD and Steph.
Right.
This season, Kawhi honestly should have been up there too.
He was top three.
Huh?
He was top three.
Yeah, but I mean, like he only got 9.
Could have been not 3.
Yeah, but I think they go more because of the Spurs system and all this other crap. And then obviously James Harden was the guy leading everything. So I think with Jordan completely dominating the East, because I really do think he's going to be a 60-plus win team. I think whatever he did in the 90s, he can do in this same East, win 60-plus games. He'll completely dominate the East. And especially when you see this guy's going, like it's going to be between him and LeBron as top players in the league, right? But you see this guy going completely crazy all throughout the season kind of thing, versus obviously LeBron is load managing and all this other shit. So that.
Do you think it'll be a situation where people criticize them for going so aggressive in the regular season? Like, they look great in the regular season, but we'll see in the playoffs.
Well, that was the same narrative that they had in the 90s.
That's
like
right.
in the beginning, in that 91 season, that was the narrative going into the playoffs. Is they've looked good in the regular season, but when it comes to playoff series, they crumble or whatever.
I could see the Bulls winning 65 games in this Eastern Conference.
I agree. I think it's a very weak East, and
how do I look?
I don't think you're getting 100% LeBron James at this time. So
he's going to be in the same division as the Cavs, right? We already discussed. I think LeBron gets up for a couple of those games, and then a couple of games he doesn't. It saves it for the postseason. Yeah. So I could easily see the Bulls getting to 65 wins, even more than they had, just by sheer will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As soon as you come in, you're 10 points down.
Yeah. That automatically takes Russell Westbrook. The reason, what Russell Westbrook got a little. Obviously, him being the first player to do a triple-double in the regular season since Oscar was a big thing. Yeah. But it was also, they didn't have the normal rule of top player on the top team.
Yeah.
Went out the window because the top team was the Warriors. Couldn't really pick one of those players. The Rockets were not.
And in the East, it was LeBron, and he didn't fucking try hard enough to win the award.
Yeah, but the East he was third in the East.
That's what I'm saying.
It wouldn't have made. He would have been the 7th seed of the entire NBA. Like that would have been weird too. They
finished second in the East.
Then what about what's his face? Isaiah Thomas on the Celtics.
Well,
nobody. Let's see how many MVP votes Isaiah Thomas.
Was this the year Isaiah?
Yeah, it was.
Yep. Yeah. This is the king of the 4th year.
Yeah.
28.9 points a game for the little guy.
Yeah.
And he's only 5th in MVP voting because people are disrespecting the East. LeBron James still ahead of him.
So automatically the theory of top player on the top team was going to go out the window anyways. And I feel like that's what opened the door for Westbrook. They were like, well, he had a historic season.
Yeah.
Everybody else, it was like, it wouldn't have made sense. So I could see why it was, and obviously, it was the hypest shit in the world watching Russell Westbrook losing and getting triple doubles was awesome this year.
I'll never forget the play he had where, and I don't know why, but whenever I think of this season, it always sticks in my mind of him getting the ball, running full speed, and just like without stopping or changing his any momentum, runs right and just jumps and destroys the rim with a dunk. I think it was against Philly, but I've never seen somebody outside of when we dug into 80s Michael Jordan highlights. I've never seen somebody run that fast and just like it looked like he was going to dunk and then hit the fucking sanction as hard as he could.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know why.
He really, because everybody going into that season, everybody felt like it was just done. Like it was Warriors, Cavs.
Yeah.
And that was going to be the season. So Russell Westbrook giving you 41 triple doubles or 42 triple doubles.
Yeah,
literally kept the season alive. Like he single-handedly gave you the excitement.
Yeah, I agree.
The issue though is if Michael Jordan's in this league, that's not the case. Michael Jordan will be giving you as much excitement or more, plus a lot of game winners.
Man, Russell Westbrook versus Michael Jordan, underrated matchup. That would be a fun matchup.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying they both like.
It would just be like two freaking cats just running back and forth.
It's just like imagine two people like in a basketball contest that are crackheads, and the winner gets the biggest crack round, and they would go that hard. They would be.
I don't usually try to think about stuff like that.
Intensely.
It would be fucked up.
It would be insane. Yeah. It would be insane. Fucking two Tyrone Biggums is going at it. Fucking, but I agree with you completely. I think, especially when you bring up best player, best team, we already discussed that Jordan's going to get the top of the East more than likely by a lot. And because the Warriors didn't break the NBA record for wins in this season, and because they had Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, I think 65, my hypothetical number of 65 wins for him, is enough to get the MVP. I think the voting looks the way it does here because I know Westbrook's going to get first place votes. He's definitely going to. First time a triple double season has happened since Oscar Robertson. He was a savage. I think Jordan will go here. Westbrook looks like Harden's votes with that amount of percentage. I think seems right.
I feel like it would be a little bit
wise votes.
It might be more like, what is that in total? 91 votes. It'd probably be like 50-40. Because I really do think that Westbrook doing that, breaking that triple double thing is still gonna be considered like insane. And Jordan giving you 31, 6 and 6 or 7 and 7, whatever he's gonna do.
Right.
It's good. It's great, obviously, on a really good team. But I think he'll still win MVP.
Yeah.
I think Westbrook would. It'll be a little closer to me. Like it'll probably be like 50. Like Jordan gets 51 votes and Westbrook gets 45 or something. But
at the time, there were two schools of thought. There was the contingency that said Westbrook, if he gets the triple double, I don't care what seed he's in. I'm giving him the MVP. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then there was the other group of people that said James Harden 29, 8 and 11 hasn't been done since, I don't know. How many other people have done that?
No, I don't think anybody.
It's anybody else. It's a short fucking list.
Yeah. It might have been.
Maybe.
But I don't know if he gave you the 8 rebounds.
Yeah,
he definitely led the league in points and assists, but he didn't give you the rebounds. That's the thing. Like,
so there was a group of people that thought that he should have been the MVP for those reasons, and they were steadfast about it. Like Bill Simmons said, he did not vote for Westbrook; he voted for Harden, and that was the reason why.
But if Harden was in the East, he would have won MVP. That's
probably.
Because he would have won, his team would have won the 60 games.
Yeah.
And he would have had, that stat line would have won him MVP. It was just where he sat in the West. There was enough of an argument against it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's why Westbrook kind of got lucky there. And I mean, not going to lie, this was one of the first seasons, or one of the seasons, not one of the first, but there's been many seasons like this, but this was one of those seasons where I think the best regular season player did win the MVP. Like,
it's true.
But Westbrook was 100% the best regular season player. Harden was close, but Westbrook definitely, and he was the most fun to watch. Like I remember,
that's important to know. That's because that I'm positive that mattered this particular year. Is the entertainment factor because everyone was so honestly depressed about watching the regular season. Like anytime you watch the regular season, you go, "Well, this fucking doesn't matter. See you in June."
Yeah. Well, this was the beginning of it. Like, because remember that the Warriors the year before were amazing to watch. Like, Steph's unanimous MVP.
Yeah,
he 100% deserved it. Like, to me, he was definitely the best player of the regular season, and he was the most fun to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm also like a Warriors fan.
So we got Jordan getting the MVP. I'm cool with that. We have, I assume, so this.
I think Kawhi wins the Defensive Player of the Year, right?
So
Draymond.
Oh, Draymond.
It goes Draymond, Gobert, Kawhi, and then there's like a tie, I think.
No, you got it right. It's Draymond, Gobert, Kawhi. You got it right.
Cool.
This is very interesting.
That's because it's other things with Draymond. It's not just the steals and the blocks,
but it's also other things with MJ. Like, and the steals and the blocks.
I know, but I think it's just so obvious to want to say MJ, but I think I would be okay with it. Did Draymond win it last year? He did, right?
I don't know. I'll tell you in a second.
In 2016, I think he did.
Not remember off the top of my head. No, Kawhi won it in 2016. This is
wow.
So he won it.
That was the second one,
yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know how. I think that was an apology award for Draymond. I mean, he was actually obviously good.
If Jordan doesn't win the award, is he automatically second?
Yeah. I think he's definitely one or two.
I think he could get it. If we're assuming Jordan 65 wins, they dominate the East, because the narrative's going to be, look at Jordan, 65 wins, and the only guy really showing his heart every single night.
Yeah.
That's what gets you awards like this.
Draymond had 67 and did the same thing. Draymond worked.
Yeah, but then you have the argument that Draymond has like KD, who's no slouch on defense. Then he's got like the whole system, and the Warriors team is good.
Jordan got Scottie Pippen. This one of two of the top 5 defenders of all time. That's not an argument at all to me. And Scottie Pippen is like equal to Draymond in defense.
So
what better?
Where's the Bulls? Where are the Bulls' defensive rating? Their defensive rating. Their defensive rating is 105.2. Where would that put them?
And I also got how did the Bulls do against the three?
So that's their Achilles heel.
Yeah, that's what, and that was the same.
It matters in this fucking era.
That's what I assumed because the Lakers, that was their Achilles heel too.
The reason why I didn't bring it up so much when it came to regular season wins is just the nature of this regular season with the amount of effort shown.
Yeah, but
I think I would have cared. I think I would.
The amount of threes
we're going to talk about it in the playoffs
matters a lot too, though. And this was like a big. If you can't stop the three, that's really important.
I definitely agree.
That might. I don't know if they get 65 with that then, because that matters.
My thing is, they're still taking out your best shooters with just man-on-man defense. Just assuming they played how they played, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen are guarding your 2 best shooters more than likely, unless you have like a Joker and I don't think we're up to him yet.
No.
Or somebody like that, like a big man who could really stretch the floor, like a Dirk. But we're past Dirk's prime. Like the Kevin Durant, definitely a hard guard, obviously. But they have 2 bodies that are elite, all-world defenders that can be thrown at elite shooters. And if that's all you do, if you're not Kevin Durant, and that's all you do is shoot.
So like James Harden, how does Jordan guard James Harden?
I think the same way that the Spurs guarded James Harden for a long time, which led him to a lot of problems in the postseason. You just got to tire that guy out. You got to make it.
But the thing is, in the regular season, the way they're not going to let Jordan guard James Harden like they would let them people guard James Harden in the playoffs.
Well, I don't know but I don't know if that's true because I think the Bulls, the 90, like I said, we're putting those Bulls in the time machine. I think Jordan, we know that Phil Jackson would send Jordan to people to end their hot streaks and like quote unquote cool them down. So I think he would, and they play the same position straight up. They're the same size.
The physicality in
Jordan's a little bit smaller
in that era versus now. You can't do that to James Harden now.
But superstars, as we know from Kobe Bryant, have leeway with with that type of physicality. And Jordan would definitely qualify in that. And I think so would Scottie Pippen, assuming
in the regular season. In the playoffs, I agree 100%. But in the
regular season, there have been stories about. I can name you a bunch of stories where superstars get different treatment. We know this.
James Harden gets the best treatment of them all. How many?
I know, but against Michael Jordan. I don't know. I don't know if he gets the same time.
At what point James Harden just they were just like, you know what? Everything's a foul. You can't touch this guy.
It's not like that. It's because it's not like they can. It's him. It's the way he takes your arm.
No, I know that. I know that.
And
but
I think he could compromising positions and then flops to get the call.
But, all right, so this is my thing because I'm not about to. This is my thing. I don't give Michael Jordan all that. He hated flopping. We know this because Michael Jordan, 7 years later, complains about Reggie Miller. And he said that the player he hated to guard the most was Reggie Miller because of all that flopping stuff. Now imagine him having to guard Reggie Miller times 1,000, who is James Harden. He is going to have a problem guarding
such
James
a weird.
It's a way better Reggie Miller and everything that
Jordan's going to have to. He's also going to have to guard Jordan. It's like in the Olympics, right?
Well,
we watched the 2020 Olympics happen.
James Harden isn't guarding anybody, so
listen, exactly. But we watched the 2020 Olympics happen, where America started getting bullied and beaten up because that's not the way they play in the NBA. And by the end of the fucking Olympics, they had figured it out because they're good at the game. I think that goes to what you started with doing with the 3-point shots for Jordan. I don't know. I definitely don't think if you drop them in a time machine, they just start shooting threes. They definitely don't do that.
Yep.
But I have to say by May or like April, I think they're probably way more understanding of what they can and cannot do and what they do and don't have an advantage with, right?
Yep.
So,
I don't think that's all besides the point. What I'm saying is,
I disagree with you. Well, I already said this. I disagree with you that James Harden would get calls on Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Like, I'm sure he would get some, but I don't think he'd get all the calls that he would get against fucking.
Do you think Do you think Michael Jordan is stopping James Harden from getting 25?
I think he gets his 25. But he'll probably get it on 20 shots. I don't think he's getting it efficiently.
That's what he does all the time, though. He's shooting 45%.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be getting it from a free throw standpoint. I think he'll go 9.
I think James Harden does exactly what he does to everybody in the regular season because it's not. I mean, maybe he's not going to give you his 35.
Honestly, I don't like.
All I'm saying is the point of the matter is because we're talking about defensive player of the year. The Michael Jordan we're thinking of can't play defense the same way he would have played in 91.
Yeah, but he's also not the guy that's promoting physicality in his era. He's the guy that's promoting please don't touch me. And he's the guy that every time they touch him, it's a foul.
Hand checking, he's doing all of that stuff. That Michael Jordan was the king of that.
Right, but why do you think it? What is Kawhi Leonard? Why is Kawhi Leonard a good defender?
He had to learn how to play defense in this era. Michael Jordan didn't.
I know, but again, this goes to my point. I think by playoff time, by the time they've gotten 65 wins, like I said before, they definitely have an understanding of it. I think that first month is probably rough as shit because they get 3 points bombed on them, and they're not playing the right game.
I got you. But so how does Draymond, knowing how to play defense in this era the whole year, get disqualified from Jordan having to figure it out.
It's the same reason why Jordan won the Defensive Player of the Year and he won so many awards in his era, because nobody is the best offensive and the best defensive player anymore. And there's always the guy on defense and the guy on offense, especially at this period of time. Like Kawhi is one of those guys. LeBron is one of those guys. Outside of that, there are very few two-way players. And with him already being, as we said, the one thing, whether you change the rules or not, you can't take away his motivation and his energy. He's got that Westbrook-like energy where he'll give it constantly, every play, no matter what. And that's what I'm factoring all those things in. And I think that, voters would probably do that too, which is why.
So you think MJ will win the Defensive Player of the Year?
I think MJ has a great chance to win Defensive Player of the Year.
You gotta. What do you? Do you think he's gonna
say yes or no, Russell? Yes or no?
So we can move on.
I mean, clearly I do, but like,
okay. So for
I
me,
just think it's important to note that like there obviously Draymond won in a landslide here. I don't think when I say I think there's a great chance, that means I don't think Jordan would win in a landslide. There are great defenders at the top. Like the top 1% of the NBA's defenders are good. Yeah. Very good. And that's more what I mean. It's why I said what I said.
I got Draymond keeping it.
Yeah.
And that's because I think Jordan, again, is going to be having to guard a lot of guards. It's not going to be, he's every night you got to guard one of these point guards or one of these shooting guards who are elite shooters and who are elite scorers. So I think Draymond has a luxury of not having to guard as many of those people. And obviously he doesn't have to do as much on offense. But I think it's closer. I don't think it's 73-16.
Yeah.
I would probably say it's like 52-45, similar to what Jordan's going to beat Russell Westbrook, and Jordan would just be second.
Last question, then we'll move on to the postseason. Because I want to be clear, do you think Jordan, by sheer volume,
I was about to say something really funny, but then
no. Wait, do you think Jordan, by sheer volume, because like you said, there's the guard depth in today's game is just infinitely better than it was in 1991 and even 98 by the time he retires.
Yeah.
The second time. Do you think his defensive numbers will be worse solely because more guards are doing more of that work?
Yeah, I do.
I can believe
I can
believe that.
I had that was my same thing back in when we had it even like 10 years before this. And I know you disagreed on that, but here
I still think he could win the award, because I think if the best part about there being lots of guards is what if, and this is the beauty of this, what if he goes up against Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, and you can add up the numbers, and it's like when these guys go against Michael Jordan, they're combined, lower than what their usual stats are, lower field goal percentage.
Yeah.
If there's,
imagine Jordan.
ESPN's gonna love that shit.
Yeah.
Eat it up.
But imagine Jordan having to guard Klay Thompson. He's gonna be. You know how it. We're gonna get into that, but that is gonna be a hard thing. And I know people are probably thinking right now and saying, "What the hell do you mean?" I'll break that down.
Okay.
Stay tuned, guys.
But before we get to the finals, we got to get through the East.
Yeah. Oh wait, all NBA teams, right? We usually do that too.
So that's true, you're right. We kind of have done this though. Ooh, but this is where it gets really difficult. Now we really got to make a choice here.
Is this positionless basketball or no? This is like...
Either way, Michael Jordan does not play forward. Like, even if you just want to say guard, like they have it here, like, Mike, you cannot put Michael Jordan at forward because he just doesn't play forward. He's not Scotty. Scotty plays forward. So you got to fucking make a choice.
I mean, it's going to have to be Harden, in my opinion. Like, I think
Yeah, assuming
it's like not that's not easy. Like, but that just shows how great like of a season James Harden had. Because like most people, when we had to pick this, we were like, oh, it's easy. This guy's out. Like,
True.
but James Harden was so good. This 29, 11, and 8 is no joke. Like we said, there's not a lot of people who've had a season like that.
Yeah.
So, but I would probably, I mean, with Jordan winning over 60 games, and averaging probably his same 31, 6, and 6, James Harden's probably gonna have to go to the second team.
I sadly agree. However, if somebody said to me, fuck Westbrook, he's not winning MVP now, so whatever. He's not getting the first team either. He can suck my balls. He didn't win enough games. I'm not gonna
30-point triple-double.
I feel your hatred.
Yeah, that's insane. 30-point triple-dub is definitely keeping you in first team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to know how many 30-point triple-dubs didn't keep someone in. Like, what did Oscar get with his 30? He should have been in first team. If not, they were racist. We know that.
That's what I was going to say. Let's have some fun just because you brought it up. I wasn't thinking about it, but just because you brought it up. Now, let's say he is a forward. Let's say he can be put in at forward. Who are you taking off?
What LeBron averaged this year?
I think it's 26, 8, and 8. Double check. I think it's going to end up being LeBron, which is crazy.
Yeah, Kawhi's going to have to get out of there.
You think it's Kawhi, even though Kawhi won didn't he win 61 games on the Spurs? I
don't give a shit. That doesn't mean anything for all NBA.
To me, it does. I use it for all NBA.
I think if you look at the detail of that, it doesn't have to do with record. I think it's only MVP.
I don't know, but I don't.
Yeah, future Russell. I know you're gonna put that up.
Yeah, I'll definitely look it up. Fucking.
But there's no way I'm putting. There's no. LeBron averaged 26. What was it? 26, 8, and.
Yeah, I wonder how many games.
54% shooting. Like hell no, I'm not putting. Kawhi was not better than LeBron. Like
55% shooting.
Look, 8 and.
Because I feel like rounding.
Almost 26, almost 9 and 9 if we're rounding, compared to 26, 6 and 4. Like all I know is y'all motherfuckers, because I know there's people that are gonna be like, well, try to break this down. I remember back in 2019, Kobe was putting 2009.
Yeah, I was
Kobe putting very similar shit, and y'all were telling me, oh, LeBron puts up better stats and shit. So y'all better keep that same energy. I know it's probably not the same people from 2009, but y'all got that same mindset. So that's what we're doing. Kawhi's out of here. Fuck that.
I think you're probably right. And also, even if we were to put it in the media's hands, I just think no one's putting LeBron off the first team.
Yeah.
I feel like LeBron, the way people get just on the All-Star team because of their name, LeBron is definitely at that point in this regular season. There's not enough guys going there all in the regular season to justify taking him off.
Yeah.
So I can see.
And actually, now that I'm thinking about this, because when I was thinking of Kawhi, it made me think of Scottie Pippen, because their measurements and like the way they look and lankiness makes me feel Kawhi makes me think of Scottie when I think of his body. Pause. But then it started making me think about Scottie Pippen's defense, and then that's another reason I think that would go against Michael Jordan in the Defensive Player of the Year. Because
it's so funny that you bring this up, because I literally call Kawhi the third coming I've called Kawhi the third coming on the show, not just because of the way he plays offense, but he plays defense the way Jordan used to play defense, being active and specifically huge hands and long ass arms. That's what I wanted to when I was talking about Defensive Player of the Year before.
Yeah,
I think even though he can't hand check, the reason why Kawhi is so good in today's league and in this era is because of his naturally freaky dimensions that Jordan will have forever. And
do you really think Michael Jordan is the best defender on the Chicago Bulls?
I think without hand checking, it'd be interesting, because I think Scottie Pippen's obviously still going to be an excellent, more than likely all-NBA defensive player.
Yeah.
But I think Scottie was way more about the physicality with defense, solely because he had the weight. You know what I mean? Like, Michael, for a long time, didn't, He was light as a feather.
Yeah.
He wasn't. That's why I brought up before. Like he wasn't. He was the guy always telling the media, X team is being too physical towards me. Like I don't like the calls. Whatever.
Yeah, but he was doing that. He didn't do that when he was playing defense. He was physical towards them.
But I don't.
That was his ultimate mind shit.
He wasn't. No, but he wasn't one of the guys known for being a physical defender in the era. Like Gary Payton was known as a physical defender in his era, right? Rodman, fucking guys like that are they are more.
He wasn't as physical.
The physicality.
But he was way more physical than anybody in this era. Like
maybe so, but it's hard. It's hard. I'm not going to be like Jordan's going to be not nearly as good of a defender because of physicality. I just think his athleticism and his freakish dimensions translate to every era.
But you don't think Scottie Pippen takes away from his Defensive Player of the Year? If you have I think that's what kind of stopped him moving forward. Because he won his Defensive Player of the Year in 98, right? And Scottie became
88.
88. Sorry, not 98. Years. But from 99 on is when Scottie started getting better.
Right.
From that point on, Jordan, he was still in the Defensive Player of the Year speak, but him and Scottie were always there.
You're right.
But counteracts.
You're right.
So now if you do it in everyone knows Draymond is the defensive anchor of that Golden State.
That's fair. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's why that's the only thing.
When you're right, you're right. That's true.
Well, all defensive team, Jordan, he's definitely on there in my opinion.
Yeah,
and Scottie would be too.
Let's get to the playoffs. Who are we facing?
There's a lot to unpack. This is gonna be fun. We got it. So, and we get to just pick random ones, right?
Yeah.
So let's see let's see who is the East.
So obviously we have the King of the Fourth Celtics. We have the Cavaliers. I think we're going to save them for later.
Giannis.
We have youthful Yanni Kumpo. Back when they were rated 66 and 67 overall in 2K.
Yeah. I don't want to do Giannis yet.
Wizards. Yeah, I don't want to either.
I like that for the 2000s.
Let's do Raptors.
Yeah, we could just do Raptors, Celtics, and then Cavs.
So Toronto versus the Bulls. Ibaka is on this team already?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, he's on this team. He just got traded to them. Lowry and DeRozan.
Black.
I'm taking Bulls in 4.
Wait, what's the 3-point shooting in this?
So
I don't think
not that much.
Yeah, it's not.
Why I'm taking Bulls in a absolute sweep.
Yeah,
bust out your brooms, everyone.
This DeRozan's here, right? Where's DeRozan? Oh, he's just not a 3-point shooter. I forgot. Yeah, he's making 0.1 a game. So.
Yeah, he's not. It's not what he does.
This is like so. A lot of people say DeRozan is really a player that should have played in the 90s.
Yeah,
or even the 80s maybe. Because of his sweet mid-range game.
Right.
And if he was a player in the 90s, he would have just got tormented by Michael Jordan. Because this is not one of those players that I'm saying, yeah, Michael Jordan's going to have to face him, multiple times in the season, and I have to deal with. I think he's going to completely lock up DeMar DeRozan.
See, there's no cool way to say that Jordan's going to own Toronto like LeBronto. I was trying to think of one. There just isn't.
It'll be
Jordanto doesn't sound good enough.
Yeah, it's not. And plus, like, this is just not Jordan's where he owns things. It's not.
But this is the perfect team for the
Bulls. New York City. We don't really talk about it.
This is the perfect team for the Bulls to face. A team that their primary scoring comes from the 2-guard small forward position.
Yep.
He's got Lowry, but he's not like elite scoring. He's only putting up 15 points per game in the playoffs. Regular season, he's got 22 a game. But this is Kyle Lowry when he would do nothing but disappoint in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He was just god awful. He was like cursed.
Yeah.
I think it's just food for Jordan and Pippen.
Yeah.
And they don't have to worry about the threes with this team, and what's this team's pace? 94.7. They pretty much play the exact style that feeds into this 91 Bulls roster.
I can't imagine there's going to be people in the comment section arguing for Toronto in any way, or arguing for DeMar DeRozan. But I would just like to say, and this is not to shit on DeMar DeRozan, because he's actually a really nice guy. He looks like a Raptor, but whatever. It was perfect for him to just be there. It sucked that they had to trade you, but he was a guy who was he was a good two guard, right?
Yeah.
Would you say he would be a top 10 two guard in the league? Two guard, just strictly small shooting guards, I get, right?
Probably top 5.
I don't think so. Like, he got lost in the mix, because think about most of his career, he had to deal with Kobe, Wade, Monte Ellis.
I'm saying right now.
Oh, my bad.
Top 5.
I was just talking about his career in total.
Yeah, no. Dude,
this year, you have him over Jimmy Butler.
I think him, Jimmy, Clay, and all those guys who are pure two guards are all like, I like Clay the most, but does he do as much as a Jimmy Butler? Or is he asked to do as much as a DeMar DeRozan? No. Like, they're all kind of in the same spot in terms of like tiers of NBA player. And all of them are not at Jordan's level. Like, or where even the two guards some of the two guards he faced in his era, they could come in today's era. And like Clyde would be nasty.
Yeah, Clyde would be a top 5 guard in the league.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, it was only 4 years ago, but I'm trying to think of all the two guys, and I was just trying to go through them real quick.
Because there's not that many. There was a point
I gotta go through. I mean, obviously James Harden.
Yeah, but he was also like kind of playing point guard, kind of not. You know, like he wasn't.
He was in and out, but I mean, he was known as. I mean, he's.
Yeah, I guess so.
Everybody considers him a two guard. He's definitely the top of the top.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
I don't want to. I know, but I'm just curious to know your answer to this. You got Clyde over James Harden?
No.
Oh, okay.
You can't. Clyde could not.
Clyde's been to 2 to 3 NBA championships leading a team. James Harden is not.
Well, 2 leading a team.
2 leading a team.
The Blazers.
And then he was a role player in the third. He was a role player in the third, but Clyde was putting up 20 with Houston, right?
Yeah, I think by the playoffs, I believe he was. Because I know it was weird for a little bit, but
to me, it's a clean sweep. I mean, it's not even like.
And how much did Jordan have? Jordan gives you 40 or 35.
Oh, he's putting up 40 for sure. He's making a statement.
Yeah.
He's coming into this. He's like, yo, this is the future. This is all cool and stuff. I like your little 3-point line, but I'm giving you 40 on one of your top.
DeMar DeRozan, they say your top 5 shooting guard? Not anymore.
Yeah.
Really? Not anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Jordan, 40 points a game. Probably 3 steals a game. Yeah. Fucking 55 to 60% shooting. Just annihilating. Because they also don't have anybody that's a pure rim protector besides Ibaka. And Ibaka's not like 1.7 blocks a game. And the way the rules are now, rim protection, you can only do so much.
And I would like to say, because I mean, I pointed this out a lot throughout Michael Jordan's like legacy breakdown, but I have to say it again because this would be like his 19th time of his career scoring 40 points averaging 40 points in the first round.
Yeah.
And even though he's only been in this league for like 15 years, but it's like even his past life and stuff. But but Michael Jordan, like I remember watching Dwayne Wade completely heat up and torch the Celtics for that one game.
Yeah.
Remember? And he looked at his hand, and it was the coolest shit in the world. And I remember thinking, Wade is fucking dominant for that. Like it was crazy. And I think he averaged like a pretty high number. I don't know if he averaged 40 for that season or that.
It'll be on your screen for sure.
Yeah, but he definitely did really good. But Michael Jordan did that regularly in the first round, and it was normal. He didn't do any hand, like looking at his hand and everything. He was just like,
walked
whatever.
off, he kissed his wife goodnight, and he went back to work the next day.
Yeah.
Business as usual.
Yeah. Well, he was kissing his bitches, not his wife. He might have had a wife, but he was you know what Jordan was doing.
Kissing his bitches, so like Clyde Drexler you're referring to, and
yeah,
you know, Magic Johnson in this particular year. Sure. But
yo, Lin, what you got?
Oh, obviously the Bulls.
Oh.
Probably in 4. I mean, I really just don't. It's just, you know.
Yeah, what can be said about the majority of the East?
Yeah. This is gonna be a fun. This is gonna be like. This will be fun. This
the fuck was that?
Because I have something that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So are we moving to the Celtics?
Round 2 versus the Celtics with Isaiah Thomas, the Mighty Mouse.
The Mighty Mouse. So here's my main question for you, Dario, that I need to ask you before we move into later series, and it's relevant now. Is Michael Jordan guarding point guards?
Yes.
He's certainly quick enough.
Yeah.
And he's he's huge in comparison to the average.
He is no. I mean, because that's one thing that we have been underrating about, because they have some decent like defensive guard. What's this dude's name? The guy that they yelled at Jordan in the '98 series. He's in this team. What's his name? Remember, he's with Charlotte.
BJ.
Yeah.
Armstrong.
Yeah, he could hang with some of these guards and stuff. So
right, there's places for those guys to hide against these guys who are not huge scorers. And then Jordan can take Isaiah, right? Because I think Jordan can handle Isaiah Thomas. And if Jordan's handling Isaiah Thomas, then I have the Bulls in 4 games. I have the Bulls in fucking 4 games. Yeah, if you're telling me Jordan's if Isaiah's going to play 40 minutes a game and Jordan's going to guard him for 30 of those 40 minutes, it's a sweep.
And since this is hypothetical, could we put straight up non-injured Isaiah? Because that matters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah.
The other way.
Okay. So you got him in 4.
Yeah.
For me, I have it in like 5 or 6.
Okay.
And let me explain.
Yeah.
This team isn't as this team isn't as crazy of a 3-point shooter team as the very next season Celtics, but they're still making in total about 12, 13 threes a game.
What do they rank for the league for this season this year? They're 3rd in the league in 3-pointers made.
Yeah,
and 3rd in 3-pointers attempted. So they are definitely.
What?
What did you see?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. I don't want to. See, I wasn't trying to do that.
You look so concerned.
No, yeah, because Goddard just caught a deep ass pass, and I'm.
Turn off your fucking shit. Turn off your shit.
But I was listening to you. I was good. I didn't think you were gonna freaking react to my.
I can look at because I'm looking at you when I'm talking to you, and
nobody's looking at my faces.
The audience is gonna know.
No, they're not. They're gonna be like,
these are gonna live for years after this. Fucking.
I didn't expect you to like.
It was your face. It was your face.
Again, happened.
You can't be doing that because you can't.
I'm looking. I'm putting it away.
Don't do that shit. Yeah, put it away.
Thank God I didn't start him.
Yeah, stop.
God forbid.
But you're right. And Brad Stevens is one of the coaches that is a firm believer, even to this day, as he enters the general manager role. Firm believer in stretching the floor. Let's have all 5 guys on the floor shoot threes as much as we can. And positionless basketball is a thing. The Celtics were the first team to really like stockpile small forwards and just we don't care whether you play shooting guard, point guard, whatever, power forward. We're just going to play all you guys between 6'7" and 6'9".
Yeah.
And it'll be great. However, I think if there is an obvious pressure of their pace is 96.8, right? So they're still not moving super fast in comparison to Jordan.
That's their regular season?
Yeah. I figure in the playoffs it's probably slower, but I'll double check.
Yeah,
I bring this up to say I think Jordan's going to get half court opportunities, and if he's being efficient with that, which outside of I think Avery Bradley's too big for him. Like if Jordan chooses to post him up, it's over. Where the hell is the playoffs?
Well, you mean Jordan's too big for Avery Bradley?
Yeah. What did I say?
Okay. Yeah.
93.9.
93. So they're going faster than the Bulls.
Yeah.
I think the Bulls are going to dictate pace, though. Because
I do too.
Typically, and this was actually really interesting because this matters towards this whole thing. So I was watching a Kobe Bryant interview, which, shocker, right? But the one thing he was talking about was the 2016, I think it was the 2016 or the 2017 Warriors versus the 2001 Lakers. And he said, and it sounded so much like one of our hypotheticals, just in terms of like how we typically talk about these things. And he said, and they asked, who do you think would win the series? And he said, whoever asserts their will. And when he was explaining that, he was saying we both played with completely different styles and paces. So whoever's dictating the pace is going to be the one who wins the series. Yeah. So, and I think obviously because the Bulls are so much better team than the Celtics, that's what they would be doing here. They're the better team. I think they would be dictating the pace, their will, everything. But it was just interesting to hear five-time NBA champions talk how we talk and like think. So it just shows a little bit of validation to what we're talking about. But especially since it's my God.
Kobe, from the grave, proud fucking companion of Apex.
You don't have to. He was not dead at that point, so you didn't have to mention that. You piece of shit. What were you gonna say, Lindsay?
I was gonna say he's our fan in heaven.
Yeah. So I think the Bulls will definitely dictate pace, but with that, I think those 3-point shots that are being made in that slow pace, hit harder. That's like fair. If you're making, even if let's say they're not making their 13 and they're making 10, that's still 9 more than the Bulls are going to be hitting. Definitely. Maybe the Bulls are hitting a little bit more because they figure it out a little bit. And let's say they
are not making more than 5 a game.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what kind of pushes it to maybe 5 or 6. Yeah. I think the Bulls still win it. Like, I don't think they're in danger of losing this series, but I think that matters.
I also like the other thing about threes that I don't give enough credit to, and it's because typically in pressure situations, live and die by the 3, people die by the 3. But the truth is, a lot of times you can get lucky with 3-point shots. Like, Marcus Smart can come out and hit 7 threes in a game, and it's going to be fucking difficult for you to win that game. Yeah. Simply because the math is what it is.
Oh my God. Like, imagine Marcus Smart having a guard Michael Jordan.
This is what I'm saying. So that's the other thing about this particular Celtics
top
team.
Defender. Like, but I think Michael Jordan completely eats him alive. I mean, in the playoffs is different though. Like, they let the physicality go a little bit more. So I think he'll be able to stand a little bit more of a chance, but it doesn't stop Jordan from giving him 35, 36.
I think your best bet of all the people to guard him is Jay Crowder and a rookie Jaylen Brown at 6'6" and 230. And 225 for Jaylen, 235 for Jay Crowder. I think those are your best bets to try and take Jordan. Yeah. Because if you're gonna put your best defenders, Avery Bradley and Marcus Smart, Jordan's got 3 inches on him. He's just literally rising over them. We know this. Easily rising over them. Yeah. So that's that's pretty interesting. What?
Yeah, for sure. No, I think Avery Bradley gives him more issues than anybody else on that. Yeah. Because he's a really good defender. Like,
that's the thing.
Especially at this point in his career, he's like one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league.
But that's the thing about defense in this era, though, too, because we have talked about a lot about that on this episode, and I wonder how whether Jordan, because in my opinion, in this era, nobody can guard him because they can't touch him. Like, I think if Avery Bradley had the ability to hand check Jordan, he would have a better opportunity to guard him.
Yeah, but in the playoffs, he does.
Maybe a little, like it's not even just in general in the NBA. They don't, it's a lot of crossover stuff.
I 100% agree in the regular season. I just think, I mean, it's not the same as the 90s.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not even close to being the same. I understand what you're saying when they do swallow their whistles a little bit.
Yeah, especially
in good, intense games.
Yeah, because that's one thing about that I like about the NBA for the most part, especially in this recent era, like the last 10 years.
Right.
You have less times that the refs are the reason that a team loses. They let them beat themselves. I mean, besides the only time that I can remember that it was blatant was the Spurs versus OKC in 2016, I think it was. It was disgusting. They were going for the Thunder like crazy, but that was the only time that I could even think of it.
Celtics Heat Game 7, 2011.
But that's as a Celtics fan talking.
Essential moment for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing. Fuck you, LeBron.
but for me, I got Bulls in 5 or 6.
I could totally.
I'm leaning more towards.
I could see your case for that.
5, probably, but I could totally
if the threes fall. If they're hitting threes, they could totally stretch it out. What do you think, Glenn?
I want to be nice and say 6.
You think they do hit
at all?
Definitive 6, yeah.
So you think they hit more threes?
Yeah, I think so. And I also just think Brad Stevens is not a slouch as a coach too. I feel like that also plays a big part. He's a good coach. He can come up with changes in his team and all these plans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you saying he's as good as Phil Jackson?
No, but I'm just saying he's a good coach. He's not a fucking idiot.
Okay.
I think he'd be good at playing a guy like Phil Jackson, who's gonna. Because I definitely think Brad Stevens is gonna make adjustments.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking coaches in basketball's history that go through playoffs and go through multiple years and series and don't fucking change their shit. Mike Budenholzer, for example.
Last year's NBA championship coach.
Yeah, who the fuck knows?
So you guys know when you watch this in 2025, this was done in 2021. Bucks had just won the championship. Giannis had a crazy performance, and So, and people are talking about him being the greatest player, the best player in the league right now.
And they still haven't won another championship. It's 2025 still.
I don't know about that yet. I'm not a futuristic guy, but I only do past time machines, coming into the future, but the future that already happened. We can't talk about that next future. That would just be weird.
Yeah, let's just tie people's brains into a figurative knot.
Yeah, and that would just be very confusing for the watcher. But
let's get to the semi-main event.
Sure.
LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love. The best team of this era of NBA basketball in the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
I know you were waiting to be like, what? Did you forget about the Warriors?
No, I was good.
Who do you got and why?
I got Cavs in 4. No, I'm joking. Triggering a bunch of people. I can't believe you said that.
No. LeBron cuffs Michael Jordan. Holds Michael Jordan to 22 a game, 40% shooting, just like LeBron did.
You know what? You really have to do that as you in the beginning of the video. You ask that. And just to trigger people, you should definitely 100% do that, please, because that would be awesome.
People are gonna be more mad because I'm leaving this part in where we explain that.
That's cool. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Bulls in 7, and I feel like I might be giving them the Cavs too many games, but this is my reason.
Yeah, talk to me about it.
I think this is a prime LeBron James.
Definitely, 100%.
I think he's dog walking Scottie Pippen and MJ if they guard him. I don't think either one of them could stop him from getting what he just got. And whatever he has there, I think he could get on them.
Okay.
But I also think the 3-point shots matter in this series too. They're averaging about 13, 14 a game.
4 guys are making over 2 a game for them in the playoffs.
Yeah, and one of those guys is LeBron.
Yeah.
So, and that matters a lot. Like, imagine LeBron just ripping threes in front of Michael Jordan's face. Like, what is he going to do? Like, how upset is he going to be about that? Like, I could totally see Michael being very mad. So, and I feel like Kyrie is just not the easiest guy for Michael Jordan or any of those guards to guard. Is not the and all right. So I know it's typically whenever he faces a guard with good handle, and shit like that, he does have issues.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas, I know it was a different series as Bad Boys, he got beat to shit, but they had a hard time guarding Isaiah.
Yeah, quick guards.
And Kyrie's
that's a great example.
Yeah. Kyrie's handle is
lethal.
Probably, I think, his best all time. Isaiah's the only one up there.
Definitely in the argument.
So I totally think they have a hard time guarding Kyrie Irving. Sure, they get to take advantage of him on the defensive end for sure. Then they'll be attacking him. I know Phil Jackson, that's going to be part of his whole triangle scheme and try to get Kyrie guarding MJ somehow and just dog walking him.
Yeah, that's the one thing. That's the one thing that makes this series long either way is that the one thing that you can't say about this Cavs team is that they're an elite defensive team. I wonder where they're at in the playoffs for their defensive numbers because I remember this team.
The regular season is season is very skewed in this because LeBron is really load managing, so that's what messes up.
That's definitely true.
Yeah,
middle of the pack for defensive rating, 9th out of 16 teams.
How much is points allowed though?
I'll tell you in 2 seconds. And number 1 for offensive rating over the Warriors in this playoffs, even though they did not beat the Warriors.
But you gotta remember they were smoking really bad East teams.
Yeah, we just tore through the East just now.
Oh yeah, that's how you guys remember. Yeah.
So they're 4th worst. They're 4th worst.
So they're gonna have a hard time. Yeah. So that's my thing. I totally think that that the 3-point shot plus LeBron James' dominance in the series is gonna make it last longer. But I think overall, you gotta remember it's still a Chicago Bulls team that is like wolves, and they have the biggest wolf on the planet at this point. This is like Jacob, like from.
Did you just really pull a Twilight reference right now?
Yeah.
Oh damn it! I thought you were saying Jason and said the name wrong.
No, Jacob. Twilight. I know we got some, and I know some girls be want to say, I know what we talking about here with Jacob. But
God damn it, you're gonna make me edit Twilight shit here. I gotta learn.
Are you?
His name is for your
to the wolf, and I hope it's happening while I'm saying it.
Yeah, I hope we don't get copyrighted for
Future Russell. For your Google search, his name is Jacob Black. That's for your Google search, Future Russell.
Really?
Thank you very much.
So I think that's my opinion on the Bulls versus Cavs.
I'll take Bulls in 4 primarily because of the Cavs defense. Or did I say Bulls in 4 or 4? Did I say Bulls in 4?
Yeah.
What is wrong with me? Because in my head I had 6 the whole time.
I was like, 6. Damn, like what makes you
I had 6. I thought I said 6.
Yeah.
And your reaction made me know I didn't say that.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like,
that happened before. Like, where I was sure I said something else and I just didn't.
Yeah, I'm like, if you love this Bulls team as much as you do, you're gonna hate the next series.
Yeah, right.
I'm about to rip into them.
No, I'm taking Bulls in 6 because of the defense. Because I don't see the rim protection on this Cleveland team. And you need that against this 90s Bulls team that is going to be relentlessly attacking the cup because that's all they know. Like there is no, the best rim protector on this team is either Timofey Mozgov's not on this team yet. Is he? No, he's not. The best, it's probably LeBron. Tristan Thompson? I don't think Tristan, I would probably pick LeBron as a better rim protector.
I would think Bogut.
Bogut? Did he actually get minutes? Let's see.
I mean, if he was playing, that would be my guess. I don't know if he really
would definitely be I agree. He was not playing in the playoffs.
Okay, so yeah. So probably be.
LeBron's the only person I could think of. Nobody else is getting a block a game.
And Kevin Love's about to almost getting a block again. Yo, we discredit this guy, man.
Well, if Kevin Love's your rim protector, Jordan has a chance to average 40 in this year.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Jordan is definitely averaging 40 this year.
You think so?
Yeah. There's no LeBron can't put up the points that he's gonna. I think he's gonna do that same stat line. Yeah. Really. But I don't think he's gonna be able to guard Jordan. He can't. He already proved that in the 2017 finals, where in this same season, he had to put up a bunch of stats and try to guard KD, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
He was giving it up in big moments.
I definitely
agree. Same thing he'll be doing against MJ.
Yeah.
MJ gonna be, what you want, boy? What you want? Wait, where you want me? And MJ gonna be searching from it. He's gonna be headhunting.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. He's gonna, if Kyrie Irving's out there talking shit, he's coming after him. If LeBron's coming out there talking shit, same difference. Yeah. I do completely agree with you that LeBron and Scottie Pippen is more than likely to match up, though.
Yeah, 100%. There's not, because it would be really dumb. It would be super dumb.
Well, it's the same reason why Magic Johnson ended up on Scottie Pippen.
Yeah,
it's the same reason. LeBron will definitely at this point in his career use his weight on MJ, work him in the post. Mm-hmm. And that'll be hard for Jordan to stop.
No offense. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect, but that would be food. Like,
yeah, it would.
It would be both sides, though, because I think MJ would eat LeBron up on the other side, too. But it would definitely be, like, they can't guard each other at all.
So it becomes Kyrie Irving's production versus Scottie Pippen's.
Which is kind of scary.
It is scary. That's what I was about to say. Because I think Kevin Love and Horace Grant will have similar numbers. Even looking at it right here.
Yeah.
Kevin Love is making almost 3 threes a game in the playoffs.
Yeah. Scottie Pippen is still giving you his 22, 7, and 7, or whatever he did in the playoffs, and I think he's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think Kyrie's still doing what he did in that series, the 26, whatever. He might not be getting 26 because I still think MJ is good enough to make it a little harder for him.
It's definitely on a low percentage.
Yeah, it'll be on a lower percentage for sure. So I think it goes 7. I really do think I feel like it's 6 is. I just think the 3-point shooting. I think the star. I think MJ and LeBron really do like kind of even each other out.
That's what I was gonna say. As you talk yourself through this a little more, it does play itself a lot more even. There's 3 guys on each team that are putting up double figures, regardless of era, right? Their pace is pretty similar in the regular season and the postseason.
Yep.
96-2, 95 in the regular season.
Yeah.
And we got 89 for the playoffs for Jordan. And I'm pretty sure it's close to that for the Cavs because they were not flying up and down the court.
It's 96.
96.6.
So it's faster.
So it's like a cunt hair faster than where they were just at in the regular season. They are, but it's not where the Warriors are at, for example. We're going to talk about them next.
Yeah.
And so,
and I think the difference and the reason, another reason.
Maybe you're right.
Because I could see Cleveland, like LeBron James has controlled pace even against the Warriors. I've seen him do it. He was controlling the pace of that entire season. I mean, that entire series against literally, arguably the best team of NBA history.
Yeah, and his goal was to slow it down.
Yeah.
So if he did that against the Bulls, I think that would play into what Jordan wants, in my opinion.
I think Jordan, but the Bulls want slower pace.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. If you're,
if he was to slow down the pace, but here he'd be speeding it up.
I would think so. I would think so.
Yeah.
But
well,
how
it was
much
between him and Kyrie? I think the reason it's faster. It was because of Kyrie. Because remember, in the 2018 playoff run, it was just LeBron on his own pretty much. So he felt like he really needed to slow down that pace to give himself a chance.
But it's still a lot of ISO ball from the Cavs for sure.
Yeah,
which plays into the one style of guarding that Scotty and MJ do.
Yeah,
that's where in a seventh game, I would lean. It would be like if you're telling me the score of Game 7 is 89 to like 83, I think the Bulls are going to win that game
for sure.
But if you're telling me Bulls got to go score 100 points, it becomes the same problem that in their era they dealt with, which is Jordan's got to put up 40% of your points, and everybody else has to get the rest to get over that 100.
Yeah.
And they did not do that very often.
Yeah.
So, man, that's crazy. I didn't think I'd find myself there because I said 6 to start. Well, I said fucking 4 to start. And then I
was like, when you said 4, I'm like, he's joking. He has to be joking.
I'm just losing my mind. Son.
Yeah.
But
you were like when I is he serious right now? I'm like, we're about to argue because I'm like, I totally disagree with this.
I'm fucking ready for this. Let's go. But then I said
because I'm not mad at 6 either. I just I really feel like 7.
I think you're right. I think it's 7 because of how even the teams are and how even that pace is in terms of even though Cavs are a little faster, it's not completely out of reach. Where I just think there is a potential for a blowout.
Yeah.
Lindsay, what do you got?
I'm kind of stuck. Like, I think it'll go 7, but I could see the Cavs winning that 7th game.
What are you stuck with?
Talk your shit, Lindsay. Explain.
I'm stuck on the fact that I don't trust Scottie Pippen. And I feel like in a Game 7, Kyrie would maybe be more clutch than Scottie Pippen. And if you're negating LeBron and Michael Jordan, then if it comes to Kyrie and Scotty's been more likely to crumble in those situations, in my brain, than Kyrie.
But this is hungry Scotty.
I get it. I totally get it. I do. Yeah. But like, it's still something that's making me pause.
Yeah, you're still something that could totally happen.
Yeah, it's making me pause.
So my only thing with Scott, and I can't believe I'm defending Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is an asshole. I already explained this throughout Michael Jordan's legacy breakdown, but I have to defend him a little. This is the same Scottie Pippen that in the NBA Finals he locked up Magic Johnson and still put up 20 plus points a game. Yeah. So this is literally arguably Scottie at his peak. And I don't know I personally don't think Kyrie at his peak is better than Scottie Pippen at his peak.
Here's the thing. Offensively, I think Kyrie is more than likely more skilled. Yeah. However, can Kyrie, this is kind of a weird conversation, but the Olympics makes me think of this more than anything else.
Yeah.
And could Kyrie have gotten away with all the dribbling that he does now in Scottie Pippen's era? I don't know. With hand checking, I don't know.
No, I mean, I don't know. Isaiah did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say I don't know. There are elite ball
I think if you're elite ball handler,
Allen Iverson, Tim Hardaway, guys like that with nasty crossovers. But this is the other thing with Scottie. I'm just thinking about it both ways. Scottie coming into today's era helps his game because he was great in transition.
Yeah,
he was elite, getting looked like Giannis going coast to coast. Was one of those guys.
Yep.
Dribbled the ball up court, looked to crash the paint, dunk hard, and had a good spot up jump shot. So it's a big wash, but I love Lindsay's point about
I
think Kyrie's more clutch than Scottie Pippen.
For sure. I mean, Kyrie only really has that one moment.
Oh, he's got it's only because he's only been in a few moments. Like he hasn't been in that many moments.
And I feel like Scottie Pippen's clutch moments
because he's not going to be in the next finals.
Yeah.
Right. And he wasn't in the first finals. He's only played 2 of those finals. when you think about it.
I just feel like Scottie Pippen's clutchness is not noticed in the way that obviously Kyrie hitting that big shot. Like that's such a noticeable thing. Yeah. Like Kyrie, like.
But he also got 40 when he needed the 40 really bad.
Yeah, but look at I agree. Don't get me wrong. I love like Kyrie. I used to like. Yeah. I was like I loved Kyrie at that time. But and I remember hating that he was on LeBron's team. But Scottie Pippen, like think about the pressure in that situation in that Magic series. Magic just dominated game 1.
Sure.
Jordan had a hard time.
Yeah.
You just saw your leader have a difficult time.
Yeah.
Literally the star who dominated the entire past decade.
Yeah.
Is dominating you right now.
Right.
If you lose this final series, you had just had. I mean, in Scottie's career, this was like his 4th or 5th year. So you've had 4 or 5 years where people are just saying you guys are not good enough, and now it's looking like it's proof. The Lakers were favored in that series.
Yeah,
that's a fact. Like people like to make it seem like Magic was just washed up. No, the Lakers were favored. Magic dominated game 1. That's pressure.
Second in MVP voting.
Yeah, and that was pressure. And Scottie Pippen then locks up Magic Johnson, the second place in MVP, and still puts up his stats and does what he has to do to help win that series and get Jordan his first championship. And it's completely overlooked. Like we know it because we look into all this shit. We just did a whole legacy breakdown, but a lot of people don't know
during that season. Check it out in the archives.
Yeah, exactly. Bam, bam. You about to see it somewhere. Future Russell. I like talking to Future Russell sometimes.
It's fun. I like hearing about it later.
Yeah.
But no,
that's my thing. I think Scottie's he's not clutch in certain like the obvious shit, but there's things that he played big roles in.
Yeah, that's why I get what you're saying. But we got Bulls in 7 for the most part.
Yes, I like Lindsey.
Lindsey's case was good. That's why I was pumped. That was a good case.
Spice. I like that little spice because I'm not gonna lie. As we were talking about it, I was like, I mean, Cavs could have a chance. Like when you brought up the Kyrie shot, I'm like, oh, spice.
Man, if that hypothetical series happened and Cavs did win, this Cavs team won over that Bulls team, no one would call Jordan the GOAT. That'd be crazy.
That's a fact.
If that happened legitimately, that'd be insane.
That's a fact.
That would actually be mind breaking.
No, but in all honesty, that just shows the difference in eras.
Facts.
Yeah, like that's simply what that is, and that's why I think if you really look at it, Jordan, since we've moved him forward, like look at how much harder it is for him to win a championship because of the era. Like he played in an era where having one star was okay. Like you can't do that moving forward is just.
I always try to clarify this. When we say one star, what we mean is it is impossible in today's NBA to win a championship with one guy scoring 40% of your points all the time.
Yeah.
It's just the guys are too skilled and the game is too sophisticated, in my opinion. Like in the playoffs, does it come down to more isolation ball? Yeah, but there's at least 2 guys.
Yeah. And too much superstars in one team in this era now.
I just think there's too much skill. Guys are so much more skilled than they used to.
And especially with the rules too, like it makes it harder for guys like Jordan and Pippen to just be able to lock up how they normally would have.
True.
Like, and that's why it matters so much.
And that's what brings us to the main event. The Golden State Warriors, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Iguodala, the Hampton Five, versus the 91 Bulls. And I'm going first. I'm taking Warriors in probably 6. But that's only because I think Jordan can do stuff on the ball to Steph where unless they're going to have Draymond run the point, if they have Draymond running point and Jordan has to chase him all game, then it might be Warriors in 5. But assuming, because I think Scotty's going to have to guard Durant, and Scotty's going to probably have a rough go at it. Just because, in my opinion, certain things, this is where physicality ruins Scottie Pippen's defense. Because Tony Allen was able to do really well against Kevin Durant because he got up in Kevin Durant's fucking grill. Even though he's so much shorter than him, he was able to be super physical with him. That is the shit I cannot. You never know where the refs are going to be on that in the playoffs. If you're telling me the refs are swallowing their whistles, then I think Kevin Durant has a harder time against Scotty. Like, not like a super time, but maybe he shoots under 50%.
It's also it's also easier for the refs to swallow their whistle if like a smaller guy is being more physical against a clearly bigger guy that they're defending too. And Pippen and Durant are similar in like stature in that sense.
Yeah, and I think Pippen measures up to KD. He's a little bit shorter, but he's browning.
Yeah.
So
I got you.
I just don't. And the threes are just those avalanches are just
So
difficult.
So I'm gonna be completely and utterly honest with you. I'm going Warriors in 4. Wow. So let me explain why. And I know it sounds very harsh, but this is my reason. For one, the only reason that Cavs team that just went 7 with this Bulls team won one game was because they scored like NBA history's most 3-point shots in that game 4. They were down 3-0 in that series. Warriors were about to go 16-0, and literally the Cavs just said, no, we're going to just shoot lights out for this one game, and that's the only reason they won that game. I don't see the Bulls doing that. My second thing is the Warriors bench is like way better than this Bulls bench. Like, I don't know if you remember Andre Iguodala, freaking David West. Sean Livingston is going to have a feast on all of those small guards that are going to be guarding him. He's just going to be putting them in the post and doing his turnaround jump shot. That's literally like, I think that shit is more automatic than Shaq's dunk. Like, that was a shot. Every time he did his turnaround shot, bruh, I literally would be like, in, like all the time. I was like, that was an automatic bucket. That was easier than a layup for me.
I'm just happy that guy got to resurrect his career after having one of the ugliest injuries in the history of the league.
Yeah. And like
completely twisting.
Yeah. Like, and that's one of the things that I love doing this season, because you get to talk about a guy like that. Like, in this Warriors team 10 years from now, people are not even going to know who that is.
Probably not.
He's like such a core factor in that Warriors. Like, because
if he got hot, they were impossible.
Yeah, and then it was also like, the reason it was so hard is LeBron would go on the bench, and then the freaking the gates would just open when the bench went on, because the Warriors bench just scored just as much as the offense did. I mean the starters did. So I think that's going to be the biggest issue with the Bulls.
I think the bench was sacrificed to an extent. This is just my opinion. The bench was better before Durant got there than after it, in my opinion.
Because but they still had their core pieces.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. But that's why I don't bring up the bench, and I don't think about it nearly as much. I didn't even think about it until you said it, because in my head I was like, wasn't the bench worse? But it was,
no, not in 20. Maybe 2018
because in order to sign Durant, they had to let go of other guys that were on the team that were making the bench like the best, the highest scoring bench.
Year to year, I don't think their bench changed that much. Their core, especially their core pieces. Iguodala,
Livingston was there.
Livingston, David West, all of those guys. Like Bogut wasn't there. Like that was like one of the defensive anchors. That was one of the that's the no. It's the.
I know. I just wanted to see, because I'm thinking about it from this point. Because the first year they won the championship, their bench was like.
The bench was the best in 2016.
They had David Lee was on. David Lee was Iguodala, Leandro Barbosa, Bogut, Livingston. Like this, they went 5 deep on their bench with a shitty starting 5.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
they
I'm trying to
still-
say.
they
Like,
still
and
did.
look at their numbers, and all these guys getting averaging more than 5 points a game off the bench, which is like a lot from
But they
from
still
bench
did
standpoint.
that in 2017.
No, it's not the same. It's a little bit less.
Yeah, but go to 2016 because that's that's like the real dominant, like the peak of their full team.
Can't believe Matt Barnes is on this team. Fuck you, Matt Barnes.
2017, yeah. He said that chip doesn't count. He always says that.
What a weirdo.
No.
What a fucking loser.
Yeah, it's not that much
Oh, he's not on this team.
Harrison Barnes, yeah.
But
no, he's on the 2017 team.
But yeah, they still have Barboza, Festus Ezeli, Sean Livingston, Andrew Bogut. And then they changed their core to get Durant. And they had Mo Spates. I remember him and his ugly growth on his head.
But like, all right, so go to the next because like Ian Clark played Ian Clark was on that same bench, but he just played a bigger role in the next year. Like I remember that.
This is the season in question.
Yeah.
Now back to the season in question. So we got.
So you still got a bunch of guys that are around that 7 point.
Yeah, I feel you.
It's like that bench was like I remember like it was just when the starters would go out, the bench was like because the bench was way better than anybody else's bench, so they would just go off, and it just didn't matter.
The biggest reason why I think the Bulls have no shot in this series, besides the bench, is the pace.
Yeah, and the 3-point shot is like,
but that comes with the pace because their pace is 100 in the playoffs and in the regular season.
Yeah,
they are flying.
Yeah,
at all times.
Yeah, and the Bulls are not stopping that.
No, they can't. They can't. It's unsustainable. Jordan will gas out, and it's not even Jordan's fault. I'm not saying Jordan's weak for stamina. It's impossible. It's impossible for those guys to maintain that level of efficiency and kick the pace up to 100 like that.
Yeah.
And that gives them no shot. Lindsay, what do you think?
I was thinking like 4 or 5 for the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 max. Honestly.
I appreciate, I could see why you would want to give Jordan the 1 or 2 games. I just think is not he needs a 100% a 50 piece, maybe even a 60 piece to. But I just think KD is gonna destroy. I really think KD is gonna give them a run for their money because this is not. Scotty won't just be guarding KD one-on-one. I mean, sure, towards the end of games maybe, but throughout the game they're moving that ball around. And the Bulls hadn't really played teams like that move the ball how they do.
But they also didn't play anybody that slowed the pace down on them. And when they did, that's when they faced their biggest adversity. This is the year they faced the Rockets, right?
No, this is they probably did.
Or they faced the Spurs
year. No, they played
in game 1 against the Spurs. They had successfully done that with Kawhi on the team. Yep. They successfully slowed the pace down. That's the key to beating this team because when you slow the pace down, it's harder for them to move that ball.
Yeah,
and it creates
risk to keep up with them shooting.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is, and this was the fundamental difference between them and the Cavaliers. They were polar opposites in terms of play style. The Cavaliers is a lot like the way the Bulls played, just with better defense for the Bulls. Yeah. But Cleveland still, and the other reason why, even though with all those threes, is Curry had a rough game. Curry was not as efficient as Curry in the regular season, for example. And that had
2016 or 2017.
I'm not saying
2017.
I'm saying I'm just using specific because didn't he shoot very poorly in that game where they won?
Curry played really good in the finals. The only reason he didn't win finals MVP was because Kevin Durant was just exceptional. Curry averaged 28, 6 and something.
Yeah, I just know there was one game, and I maybe it was the one.
It was game.
It might have been the deja vu dagger shot.
Yeah, the dagger.
Might have been that one where Curry
that was that literally explained why they got Kevin Durant that shot. I mean that game. That was when the Warriors go get cold. This is what you need for them to do.
Yeah, it was the game they lost. This is what I thought. He had 14. He had 14 points on 13 shots, and they won. What was the final score of this game? They won 116 to 137, so they couldn't even bring the pace down.
Wait. This is not the shot that I'm thinking about. I mean, the game.
Oh, I know. I was looking for Steph Curry.
This is the historical threes, though. Like, this is when they should make 22 threes or something like that.
No, I know, but what I was referring to was, I was trying to figure out Curry's game where he shot particularly poorly in this season in the finals. I couldn't remember whether it was the Deja Vu Dagger game or this game. That's all I was trying to figure out.
But that pace was still 96.
That's what exactly. That's
it's still fast.
It's super fast in comparison to what the Bulls are fucking with.
Yeah.
And I just don't. There's no universe where they can slow the pace down enough to get
it's still
more
not
wins.
fair for them. That's the thing that, like, I'm not trying to. Even if they slow the pace down, it's still a disadvantage for them because the amount of threes it's literally not going to change the fact that the Warriors are going to be making more threes than them. Like, and it's by a significant margin.
Right.
And I think that always is going to put the Bulls at a disadvantage because if you're making 10 to 15 more threes than the other team, that automatically means you're scoring about 30 more points than them.
Yeah.
And it's just math at that point. And we can't say the Warriors aren't going to do it because you have 3 of the top 15 shooters of all time in the same. Like,
I'm just looking at the teams that have had success against this particular roster during their run.
Yep. And
it's just funny how it is to an extent a math problem when it's just like you slow the pace down, which stops their crazy ball movement style and creates more of that isolation. That'll get them to their least efficient place. But then you still have Curry and Durant to deal with in isolation. Yeah. And to your point, that's why they got Durant, because I think that was the biggest reason they lost that finals in Game 7 the year before, is because they didn't have the guy. Like, you'd think it was Curry, but Curry,
Well, he was a lot of people. I mean, I'm not trying to go back in history, but Curry was injured during that playoff run, and people like completely disregard it. But I mean, them getting Durant was pretty much saying, well, now we don't have any. There's no need for any of that. Like, we don't. Yeah, we turned all of our stones pretty much, and we're gonna make sure we win these chips. So
yeah.
And that was like that dagger game, that third Game 3. That's exactly what that was. That was like, it was a tight game going back and forth, and that was normally the game that Warriors would have lost, and it would have came, and then the Cavs would have been able to get back into the series. And KD was just like, "Nah, I'm hitting this dagger." And
yeah.
And he would be doing that same thing in Scottie Pippen's face.
Oh.
So yeah. So
But we got Jordan win MVP, and we got Bulls making the finals and losing to the Warriors the way most teams probably would.
Yes.